Welcome back, Stingers. We're going to talk about what self-love is because it's such a popular word. It's such a popular word, and I think people overuse it. I think people talk about it in the sense that it's something that is easily attainable. Loving yourself. What does that mean? I thought about this when I was writing my first two books, Dating Scorpio, Rise from the Ashes, The Scorpio's Guide to Self-Esteem and Rebirth, and what it meant for me to go from a person who was not self-loving and had to break all that down, break all self-hate, indoctrinate beliefs, false values that weren't even mine, that were pressed upon me, opinions of other people, all of the things that had formed my former self into a person who did not have self-worth and value. And it's really easy to tell what your value, is, and how you value yourself and how you care for yourself by the decisions you make every day, the decisions that you make in terms of your well-being, the decisions you make in terms of how you treat yourself, how you allow others to treat yourself. It's really crystal clear, what your self-worth is. And a lot of people get on YouTube and social media and they talk about self-worth and, how they're loving themselves, yet they're in abusive relationships, they're at some shitty job, they are living paycheck to paycheck, they're eating poorly. That is not self-love. So I just wanted to cover a lot of things that I believe are indicative of self-love and self-worth. So I want to start with how you treat yourself in all facets. We can take health as a primary example. Back when I had low self-esteem, I ate very poorly. I ate a lot of junk food. I ate a lot of animal products. I did not care about just things that you would think that most people care about. I wasn't thinking about like sugar, cholesterol, having a heart attack, having a stroke. None of those things mattered. I ate terribly. I ate terrible foods. I had high cholesterol. When I was like in 5th grade, I had something like 12 cavities all at one time. I did not floss. I did not brush. The dentist couldn't stand me because they knew that they would be there for hours trying to, fill these cavities. I just didn't care. There was no worth. There was no me stopping to think, well, let me eat better. Let me feel good enough to eat better. Let me feel good enough to get the certain amount of rest. Let me feel good enough to treat myself in this way, to choose better, to make better decisions, okay? And so I had health issues. I was constipated all the time. I would go to the bathroom once every 2 weeks, which is absolutely disgusting. I was put on like acid reflux pills. It was a mess, and I was young. So, the doctors would look and be like, what is she doing? I didn't feel worthy of having great health. I didn't feel worthy of eating better, of making those choices, of saying, no, I'm going to eat this instead, or I'm going to do this instead, or, so poor health is very indicative of someone who is not putting themselves first and who is not loving themselves. It is not self-loving to overeat. It is not self-loving to undereat. It is not self-loving to eat poorly and make excuses for it. It is not self-loving to be in your 20s and have bad health. It is not. It is not self-loving to have, type 2 diabetes brought on by eating terribly, brought on by being obese. It is not self-loving to hurt yourself, harm yourself through food or through terrible self-talk, or getting into a relationship. That's another thing. Self-love is choosing relationships that are healthy, not putting yourself in harm's way like you would a child, your child or anyone else's. If you saw them crossing the street and a car coming, you would go and grab them and hold their hand and cross the street until it was safe. A lot of you guys are not holding your own hand and crossing the street until it's safe. You are choosing situations that can be potentially harmless, like getting in relationships that are not commitment, that are not loving, that are disrespectful. And this is, a sign of not feeling worthy enough to be in the company of the best people, or to choose better, or to even treat yourself with kindness, or to even be able to identify that. That is not self-love. Self-love is choosing better relationships, particularly the one you have with yourself. Saying, I feel good enough to not overwork myself. I feel good enough not go into a situation knowing I'm not going to have an amazing outcome. I feel good enough to put myself first and not treat other people better than me, not to put someone else higher than me. I feel good enough to exercise every day and take care of my body. It's the only one I have. I feel good enough to create something for myself, create a company, or do things that I really enjoy. I feel good enough to demand a certain salary in a position. I feel good enough to take things away from me, cut them out of my life that are not helping me or not filling me with joy. I feel good enough to accomplish my dreams. I feel good enough to believe in myself. I feel good enough to know that I am worthy to have specific things, to live in a specific neighborhood, to have a specific job title, to, I feel good enough and worthy enough to say no to people when I don't want to do things. I feel good enough to not value someone else's opinion over mine. The list just goes on, and these are things that are a part of being self-loving. It is. And you think about this in a simple way, because a lot of people get confused, especially younger people. They think self-love is sitting home reading a book. You could be miserable sitting home reading a book. You can be hating yourself sitting home reading a book. But it is making decisions. It is choosing. It is putting yourself in non-compromising situations. A lot of you guys, you're with partners right now. You're like, oh, he wants me to do this, and if I don't do it, see, that's not love. Love is looking out for yourself, looking out for your best interests, knowing that, you have the right to say no, and not feel any kind of ways about it, to protect yourself at all costs, to protect your health, to care about who you are. I told you guys that when I had that boyfriend, and you'll read about him in Dating Scorpio, that I demanded he go before we got intimate. I demanded he go take a whole entire test at the doctor's office. I wanted to see all his panels, blood work, and everything. And I felt good enough to demand that, to say these are the requirements. You will not touch me other than that. I felt good enough to do that. And a lot of you aren't. You're like, oh, but what if I don't do it? The worth is not there. The worth is not built up. Protecting my health. I care about my health. The relationship can go. We can always get a new relationship. What about my health? I care about my health. I care enough about myself. I protect myself. Going into different situations. Is that right for me? Is that good enough for me? What do I get out of that? That is self-love and protection, like you would for anyone else. If you had a little sibling, you would say, no, that person's not right for you. I care about you. But then you go around, you turn around and go in a situation where Now you're in a relationship that isn't good for you. Self-love is looking out for yourself in every facet, in your work, in your career, in your love life, in your health, where you live. Are you in a safe neighborhood? Or do you hear gunshots outside your window? That's not self-love. Why would you put yourself in that situation? Right? Why would you do that? Why would you move in a dangerous neighborhood? Why would you live in a place that's causing danger, that you have to keep looking over your back? That's not loving. That's not protecting. Okay? And so I want you guys to think about self-love in those ways. How would you treat anyone that you cared about and that you would protect your children, that you would take a bullet for, and with you just have to learn ways to implement these things until they become second nature. I always ask myself, what am I benefit from this? How this is not good enough for me? Is it good enough for me? Like, would I want that? Like, what do I really want? Do I really need that? And what's the benefit? And so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because a lot of people are having these conversations and they're using a lot of material things. They're like, I'm self-loving. I'm taking a bubble bath, and that's all great. I do that every night. You know what I mean? But what else are you doing? I have a company that I love. I'm in the situation that I love. I've created an easy life for myself. I don't have poor relationships at all. I have literally none. I'm not fighting back and forth with someone. I don't have unnecessary responsibilities that are holding me back. I'm not making excuses for things. I'm not overworking myself. I do know how to take a break. I'm not feeding myself terrible things, and that's physically, mentally, and spiritually. I look out for myself. I really do. And that's what self-love is. All right, I'm done with my rant. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. I'll see you at ScorpioSunScorpioMoon.com, where you can buy my audio and paperback books. Rise from the Ashes, Dating Scorpio, and I'm Not Crazy. I have a 4th book coming out. It may be out by the time you see this video. I don't know. But you can get all of my books at your local bookstore. You can just ask for Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon collection, and they can get it for you. Or if you're in New York City, you can get my books at Aum Shanti Bookshop on East 14th, Quest Bookshop on East 53rd, or better yet, just order them from my website. I have 9 or 10 amazing crash courses for you guys if you want to learn more about dating Scorpio, raising Scorpio children, and I have so many more. How to get in the mirror. I teach you how to do a mirror transformation as well. I have an incredible chart reading, a master chart reading. If you guys want to know more about your chart, starting from the beginning, we talk about love, we talk about career, we talk about relationships. I talk about your superpowers, I talk about challenges, I tell you how to master everything and use everything to your advantage. I also give you your karmic matches and birth dates of people who will transform your lives. Some of them are in your lives right now, you don't even know it. I also have a tarot card reading called Secrets Exposed, where you send in a text message or a photograph and I break it down for you. If you want one-on-one, I do offer personal live stream sessions. I have an amazing shop where you can get all things Scorpio, and I have exclusive videos for you guys. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm out of here. I'll see you soon. Mwah.